David. How's it going?
Everything's good. And today I thought we'll talk about Stephen King. He's a famous writer in the West. And if we don't understand Stephen King and if we don't understand the world today, then how can we understand the world in the past? Or how can we understand the future? You see?
Yep.
Okay, I've sent you the page. What do you see about Stephen King in the first page? What number do you see?
I see 19.
Yes, and what are on the next page? What are Stephen King's works famous for? You can read it. The first
19
sentence.
is a mystical number that appears regularly throughout the works of Stephen King, particularly the Dark Tower series.
Yes, 19 is a number that's famous in his works. Now, what you will find is that many words, many letters, and the layout and many things have to do with the number 19, especially in The Dark Tower and in many of his previous books. But this subject, many people have investigated it, but not very deeply. But if anybody opens that webpage and goes through it, Stephen King wiki, they'll find a lot of information about it. So you could read, for example, the next page.
Yes, 19 Stephen King wiki fandom in the Man in Black's note. 19 is said to be the key word that will unlock Nort's memories of what he'd seen while he was dead.
Right, this is very important. So 19 is important for something to do with the dead. Yeah, something to do with the dead. It's very important to pay attention to this. Stephen King or whoever wrote these works knows something, or otherwise they wouldn't have put it in the work. So they know something. Like, for example, Stephen King wrote a work called The Green Mile. Yes, now The Green Mile, when it was published, I think it was in the 1990s. Yeah, sometime during then. 1996. Notice it was published in the 6th year of that decade. So what he did was he separated that book into 6 parts when it was published. So that's 6 and then 6. And then each of the 6 parts was released separately over 6 months. So that's 6, 6, and 6. And you could read it, what he says himself, yes, about The Green Mile. The part-by-part publication.
The part-by-part publication was a sore point with me and some readers as well, because the price was very high for a paperback, about $19 for all 6 installments.
So we've got 1996, that's the first 6. 6 different parts of the book, that's another 6. And they were sold separately over 6 different months. That's 6, 6, and 6. And then it was about $19. Yes? And if anybody understands squaring the circle in masonry, they will know what this is about. But anybody who doesn't understand it, yes, I've explained this very deeply in my book, 33 Degrees, and they will find the answers to that in the book 33 Degrees. Yes? So it's like Stephen King, it's like he's saying it's about $19. I mean, he didn't want to say it's about $20. Nobody wants to say that when it comes to the number 19. Yes, you know. So, yes, so he's known for the book The Green Mile. Tom Hanks and The Green Mile, the movie. Yes, it's a famous movie, yes?
Yes.
You know the basics of the story. What's the basics of the story?
I think a very large black gentleman is falsely accused of murder, and he is sent to
And
prison,
how old was he?
But he has some...
How old was he at the time?
19?
That's it. Okay, we've understood. Okay, yes, basically. But it's somebody who's got sent to prison. So now this reminds me of another book by Stephen King, which they made into a movie, The Shawshank Redemption. Yes, and it's the story of, well, what do you know about The Shawshank Redemption?
Another man was falsely accused of killing his wife and was sent to prison for this.
He was sent to prison for how many years? You could read it here. I've sent it to you.
Yes, the Shawshank Redemption, adapted from the Stephen King novella Rita Hayworth, and Shawshank Redemption, the film, tells the story of Andy Dufresne, a banker who spends 19 years.
Yeah, he was basically trying to dig his way out for 19 years. So I think you're beginning to understand what's going on. Yes? So the thing is, many people don't understand what the message is. But of course, when these people are writing books, they're trying to, it's like if anybody understands Freemasonry. Yes, this is in my book, 33 Degrees. And, not just Freemasonry, but other organizations in the Enlightenment. The point is to get a message across. Yes, and many people are thinking, what is the message of the movie? They can't seem to figure it out. They're asking, is it a flawed movie? Things like this. So people can't understand it. Like, for example, there's the work note, there's Stephen King, and then there's the character in one of his books. I'm not sure if it's a book title, Bradley Trevor, who's known as Baseball Boy. And his number is number what?
Let's see. I
Baseball
think it's
Boy.
number 19. Yeah, Baseball Boy number 19.
You don't even need to think anymore. You don't even need to think anymore. No, I'm joking. By the way, in case some people want it, so here is, I think Everand is a bookstore company or something. Yes, and here it is that they tell you in 1996, the Green Mile, it was split into 6 separate parts. Each part was published one per month. That's 6, 6, and 6. And 6 and 6 is basically 19. So the Green Mile, just in case people want to know how old Wharton was in the Green Mile, here it is. The information is there. How old was Wharton when he was sentenced for the murders in the Green Mile?
19-year-old Wharton.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he can't be 20. Yes. So these things, there is something going on here. Yeah, there is something going on here. And the thing is, many people are trying to figure it out. Yes, so here, for example, let's have a look. Yes, many people are trying to figure out what Stephen King, what is the message he's trying to get across. So you could read this yourself.
Okay, in Stephen King's The Dark Tower series, the number 19 holds a significant symbolic importance throughout Roland Deschaines' journey. It is a recurring number that appears in various contexts, but it is not specifically tied to the number of times Roland has climbed the Dark Tower. Instead, the number 19 is linked to fate, Ka, destiny, and the cyclical nature of Roland's quest. It is a number that recurs in various ways throughout the series, often signaling pivotal moments or events in Roland's quest.
Yes. So now, if anybody wants to understand more about the use of the number 19, more details about that is in my book, Secrets of the Kabbalah. But basically, I will go through about the Dark Tower. So the thing is, it is something linked to fate or to destiny. Now, Stephen King isn't a Muslim and has got nothing to do with Islam. It's like many people know about 19 and the Ka and the Ba and the Kabbalah. Yes? And the Kaaba of Allah. Yes? Or the Kabbalah. And the Ka and the Ba, the Kaaba. So the number 19 is linked to this. It's linked to your fate and to your destiny. Yes? And of course, when we think of Kaaba, yes, we think of Mecca and the Muslims. And the number 19 is in many places. Yes? Many people know about it. Yes? It would be a lie to say people don't know or don't understand the significance of the message. Many people know. Many people are trying to guess and other things. Many people are questioning what is it. Other people just know it naturally. Yes? Maybe it's fate. Maybe it's destiny. So now Stephen King or whoever wrote his books knows. And so the Muslims have a house in the Middle East and they call it the Kaaba or you could call it the cube, or the kuba, or the house of destiny. Yes, and the thing is, it's mathematically linked to the number 19. In astrology, the way the Kaaba points to the cardinal points, and even with some of its planning, when we see that whoever chose that location and built the things, many of the charts shows that it goes through 33 different sectors in the sky, and 33 is actually 19 when it becomes a square or a cube. Yes, 19 is the circle. It's a long story. People will have to read my books to understand this. But there's many people who are questioning. It's interesting. It's an interesting subject. Yes, the Quran, of course, is a historical document. Yes, it's an important document. Well, so is William Shakespeare. The William Shakespeare is a historical document. Yes, historical documents are important. History is very important in the world. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So the thing is, there are many people who are questioning: is the Bible the Word of God, or the Quran the Word of God? We are not here to talk religion. We are here to examine and question and try to understand history and go through the lies. This is what we're doing. Well, this is what I focus on anyway. Yes, I'm not here to tell anybody that you should follow this and that. If anybody wants to do any good things in life, yes, then all I can say to them is, help people, give charity, help people, help to make the world a better place. Okay, so now here is some other opinions. These were very important things that I noticed that some people said. Yes, so the thing is, you could read this. Yes.
So John Amdahl, I thought that at first too, and maybe that is true, but I believe 19 is also the number of the keystone world, our world. We can't really know for sure, but I tend to think now that 19 isn't the number of times Roland has reached the tower, because on the 20th climb, would he still see number 19 references everywhere for the keystone world? It seems like King meant for us to wonder about how many trips Roland has taken, so he will probably always leave that unclear.
Yeah, that's okay.
It has other significance.
Okay, carry on.
It has other significance to King in real life as well. The date he was hit by a car and severely injured was June 19th, 1999. He took a break from writing after that accident. He also started writing The Dark Tower when he was 19, trying to create something like The Lord of the Rings.
Okay, this is what they've told us. We don't know what age he tried to start writing. But anyway, many people have started figuring things out. Yes, and the thing is, even in Masonry, many people say that the Ka and the Kaaba and the keystone and the cosmic ashlar and the stone at the Kaaba in Mecca, and many people who are connected to Masonry or Theosophy say that the history shows that the keystone is the stone at the Kaaba. Yes, but the stone, they say, is also within you, but it's like within you, but to reach out to the stone at the Kaaba or something, it's connected. The Kaaba in Mecca. Yes, more information about that, people can study Freemasonry themselves, or if they want, if they think it's difficult to understand the meaning, I've done my best to explain it in simple words in my book, 33 Degrees. So when people read Stephen King's books, they can see that there's something there. The keystone, or the stone with the Ka and the Ba, the Kaaba, or the keystone or the stone that's at Mecca. Yes, so the thing is, many people can see these things. And the number 19, which is mentioned in the Quran, by the way, if many people don't know, then yes, the Quran mentions about the number 19. And don't forget, we mentioned to get memories about someone of the dead or something. Yes, and before, to do with Stephen King, yes, the number 19 was in that story. And also, it's important to pay attention. 19 isn't the number of times Roland reached the tower. even if he went on the 20th, this person is asking, would he still see the references to the number 19? Yes? So these people are asking questions. Yes, but let's go through more examples of like gematria and other things. It's so deep, but we're going to go through some basics. Like you could read this about the Dark Tower and Stephen King. Yeah, go ahead.
The North Central positronics device called Daria is run with a code called Directive 19, which stops it giving certain information to the user. Overriding the commands causes the device to stop working. Donald Frank Callahan's name has 19 letters. Richard Patrick Sayers' name has 19 letters.
Yes, in fact, many names and many other things. There are multiples of 19 and other things in Stephen King's books. These are very important things because then we can see many people are claiming, hey, there's amazing number of letters and mathematical layouts in the Bible, the Tanakh, the Kabbalah, the Quran, the Torah, the Vedas. It's like you can do that depending on how you wish to spell something. It's up to you. That's why, for example, the Bible, it's called Godspell or Gospel. It means it's the spell of God or how you spell things. That's got something to do with further to if you understand it, you could use it towards black magic. But anyway, the thing is, before we saw that 19 was the key word. That it was the key word to unlock Not's memories of what he'd seen while he was dead. So 19 was what happened when he was dead, or it's after you die. Something to do with after you die. And so another person, assistant or somebody in chorus, people, members of the public who are into Stephen King as fans, have said 19 is linked to the destiny or the fate or the car and the bar or the Kaaba Allah or the Kabbalah. Yes? And so the thing is now we can see Directive 19. It's like you can't go beyond there. It's like it's like it stops giving certain information to the user. You can't go beyond it. Yes? And it's like a block. It's like the dead end or it's the end. Overriding the commands of 19 causes the device to stop working or to die. You see? So it's because people have been asking. Yeah, so now the thing is they wanted to know. And they said, David's like a gatekeeper. He's hiding information. So the thing is, let's go a bit further. Directive 19. So because people want to know, many people know it. And that's why they say 19, which is the circle. And if you square the circle, 19 becomes 33 in 3 dimensions. Yes, you can't go beyond the 33rd degree, or simply you can't go past 19. You can't go past it. Yes, and when you get to it, it's the symbol of the cross. It's the omega. Yes, so somebody's going to say the symbol of the cross. What do you mean? Yes, you'll find that answer in my book, 33 Degrees. And the cross is the symbol of what? Life or death?
To me, it reminds me of death more than life.
Yes, it's known as the symbol of death because it's the crucifixion. It's so
yes.
that's what it is. Christ died on the cross according to Christianity. Yes. So this is the thing. So the thing is, when you get to 19, you've got to the cross. You cannot go beyond this place. Yes. And so the cross, some people say it's like a cross at your skull, and when you open it, 4 parts. Some people say, and other people say it's Shambhala. When you get to the North Pole, the 4 islands, it's a cross. You can't go beyond there. When you get there, there's nothing. It's death. Yes. So they say that's the station of Brahma or Shambhala. It's the cross. And what's there? You were imagining some type of eternity, but your body's dead. You've actually gone out of your body. You've basically died. So now about Directive 19. Yes, you could read it. People are figuring it out. Yes? This is from Reddit.
What exactly is Directive 19? In regards to Andy the Messenger robot, Directive 19 was his order to hide information about the wolves from the people of the Kala.
So now you can see. Yes, so Andy is the messenger. And the Quran says that Muhammad is a messenger. And Muhammad talks about 19. Well, the Quran talks about 19. The Muslims will say it's the word of God. Yes? The thing is, historically, historians will say Muhammad mentions the 19 in this Quran. So this 19, yes, it says that people will be asking questions about this 19. Yes, and it goes into detail about it in the Quran. But basically, this messenger robot, yes, he knew about the 19. But the thing is, he didn't disclose the secret of the 19. But he was giving a message to these people, and so the directive 19, yes, to hide. He basically hid some information. So people want to know these things. It's like, for example, I'll just go, open up the Quran and we'll just have a look at a basic translation. Yeah, and wait, I'll send you a screenshot, and then you can read it out.
I will make him burn, but what will explain to you what this burning is? Nothing can survive it. Nothing can escape it. It burns the flesh. Over it are 19. Over it are 19. Over it are 19. We have appointed only angels to be guardians of the fire, and we have made their number to be a trial and a test for those who do not believe, so that those people who were given the previous scriptures, such as the Torah and the book of Christ and the book of David, so that they may know for sure what is the truth. And those who believe may have more faith, and those who were given the previous scriptures and the believers will have no doubt. And those people whose hearts have a disease, and the people who do not believe will say, what is God trying to teach us? God leads in error whoever God wishes, and God guides to the truth whoever God chooses. No one knows the forces of God except God himself. This is nothing but a warning and reminder for mankind.
Okay, so as you can see, many people know about this 19. And the thing is, many people call them gatekeepers. Yes. So Stephen King, many people call him a gatekeeper, saying he knows. But the reality is this. People are looking for the answers to death and what is beyond death. People are looking for answers for it. So the thing is, Stephen King gives certain examples. He gives messages in his books. Yes? And things like this. And so the Quran gives you a warning about this 19. So actually, and he gives, it's very strange the way Stephen King's done his works. Actually, it's in a similar way, whereby he gives a message to the world. Of course, he gives his own stories. God knows who wrote them. And they're stories, but if anybody understands the meaning behind them and they go through the masonry of the words and everything, they will come to the same conclusion. What do you call it? Yes, what Stephen King is saying and what the Quran is saying. Of course, yeah, it's like a story. So if some people are going to say, if you can't see the message behind the story, I don't want you to judge. You could read this first paragraph out. Andy?
Andy the messenger robot, or simply Andy, appears in Wolves of the Kala. He is initially portrayed as a friendly robot, fond of telling horoscopes. He is the bearer of bad news for Kala Bairn Sturgis. He gives forewarning about the coming of the wolves.
Yes. So the thing is, we will see a similar story about this Prophet Muhammad. Yes, the Prophet Muhammad was seen as a friendly preacher. Yes, giving out a message that he says this is from God. Yes, and then he's giving them bad news about the coming of the Gog and the Magog. The Quran gives this story. Yes. But then have a look. But because this is Stephen King's version, read the next paragraph later.
Later, it is revealed that Andy is helping the wolves by telling them where all the children are.
Basically, you've got it.
Through...
Yes. you've got it. So now here is that when we read the story later, it says that this messenger, yes, who came for the people, yes, was actually betraying them. Yes, where all the children are, because now the people have joined forces with the messenger, thinking, that he must be on our side. Yes, because he's told us all this. So in here, he gives the message that the messenger was the enemy. Yes, and the thing is that historically, many people did declare in history that the Prophet Muhammad was the enemy. Yes, but anyway, we can see where this is going. Yes, we can see where this is going. Yes, but the thing is, it shows that Stephen King and this Quran or this history that's in Europe, yes, is bigger than we can imagine, and it must have influenced people so much more. Yes, that the thing is, here is somebody else. He's commenting on Stephen King. Different people give different comments. We're just reading them out. So, of course, there are some foolish people who are going to say, David said this or Nachiket said this. We're not doing anything. We're just showing what's going on in the world right now. It's like if we, not an accident that these stories are in Stephen King's books. So now you could start from June 1999 after that.
Yeah. Now that I've begun to read the works of his two sons, Owen and Joe, I'd not be surprised if the majority of these final books were co-written with his son Joe or both sons. Again, I have no proof or inside knowledge if my intuition has any real truth. All I know is from the constant insertion of everything in 19 only began in the final three books, writing himself.
So the thing is, it's because there's 19 in many of the other books, but many people haven't noticed this. Yeah, they can go and check and do their investigations. But many people, like here, somebody is saying, did Stephen write these books? Or did other people help him? But now that, if anybody has read my books, they'll know that 19 is being used on a wide scale beyond our belief. So the thing is, we don't know who wrote it. Yes, and the thing is, there is something going on. Yes, and there seems to be two sides at war. Yes, and we can see, for example, there is the current world order. They are on one side. The Quran is on the opposite side. On the side of the Quran, there are many people on that side too, and there are many people on the side of the New World Order. So the number 19 is not exclusively only in the Quran. Yes, and the Quran is a historical document. The Bible is a historical document. William Shakespeare is a historical document. Yes? So these things are there. And as for example, what we do know is that modern standard Arabic was modified with the dictionaries just around 100 years ago. But it was based on another Arabic, which is known as classical Arabic. And classical Arabic wasn't just one language. Same like English isn't just one language. Yes? There are many different types of English, like in Canada, or in Australia, or in America, or in England. And even the English language that was spoken 50 years ago in many places around the world is different than what we're speaking today. There is the Creole and other English languages. So the thing is, classical Arabic is not just one language. It's because there are many people who are Islamists and Quranists because they want to continue using dictionaries that they know that colonial murderers and rapists wrote. They want to use them because they want to justify their theories. Yes? And the thing is, there are other Arabic dictionaries, but they don't want to use them because then their theories collapse. Anyway, I've got no time for religious, idiots. It's because we're discussing history here. Yes? And so here, about the number 19, you could just read this fast so that people can understand this.
Yeah, the number 19 in the Dark Tower series, Eddie interprets the number 19 as a symbol of foreboding and bad luck, which it is. Nothing good is associated with the number 19, and it appears repeatedly throughout the latter half of the series. Generally, these appearances are affiliated with terrible events. When Mia hijacks Susanna's hot body and takes her to New York to give birth to Mordred, Day stay in room 1919 in the Plaza Park Hyatt Hotel, June 19, 1999, is the day the character Stephen King is slated to die, hit by a van whose driver is listening to Steely Dan's song Hey 19, followed by the fictional song Gangsta Dream 19 by What Ought Ray Just. The robot Andy is forbidden from telling the quartet about his functions because the programming directive 19 in the Dark Tower, Chesed, is the password for the door between New York and Static. Chesed means 19 in the high speech of Midworld, and this door is the portal for the Crimson King's low men in the past from Midworld to Keystone World.
Okay, basically, yes. The thing is, number 19 is shown as bad luck or something to do with bad luck in his work. Same like it says, in the Quran, it talks about a fire. Yes, it talks about some fire that's going to burn people. Yes, and over this fire are 19. Yes, and it says those people whose hearts have a disease will be questioning what is God trying to teach us. Yes, and things like that. And it says this number is a trial and a test for those who don't believe, and that those people who are given these scriptures, they will know for sure what is the truth, that they will know. So many people call these people gatekeepers. And from what I can see, whoever wrote Stephen King's works, whether it's him or somebody else, they know. Yes, they know what is the truth. And of course, if they believe, then they will have more faith and or things like this. But I'm just reading out the Quran here, chapter 74 officially. Yes, these chapter numbers are artificial, by the way. Yes, so the thing is, what we can see is then the robot Andy is forbidden from telling the quartet about his functions, etc. So then there is Ka, and then Tet, like dad or whatever, or Tet or your head, God knows, Directive 19, and things like this. And it's the portal to the Keystone World, or the Keystone, and it goes on. But anyway, now we'll go through a bit more, and you'll see this is very suspicious. So what is the Keystone World to this 19? Like the Quran says, this 19 is over the fire. Basically, some people say it means the fire of hell. Traditionally, the people who learned the oral Quran is about 200 years old. Yes, that I found through transmission. It's like, for example, there are some idiots. Yes, I call them genuine idiots. I'll give you an example. My grandfather's family, when I was young, I used to talk to them. And of course, old people, they sit there and they tell you stories of what they did, what their parents did, what problems they had, and they tell you stories about their grandparents. So that's how you could trace history. Yes, up to about 150 years. Because you ask an old person and you ask him, what did your grandfather tell you? And if you ask many people, then you can find a lot of information. But here is somebody who's done an analysis on Stephen King's works. Yes, Robin Firth. Yes, this is a very amazing book. This is from the preview in Google Books, and the thing is where we start now. I want you to focus on Alice, a character. To remember this, you could start from the second paragraph.
Okay, in the 2003 Gunslinger, we also find out that the number 19 is a magic number after Walter Odin resurrects the weed eater Nort in the dried up town of Tall. He implants a secret door in Nort's memory and imagination. The door, which holds back the secret horrors of the afterlife, is locked, but the lock has a key, and the key is 19. In a letter written to Roland's lover Alice, Walter confides the nature of Nort's door, what Alice will find when she opens it, and the numerical key to the lock. Driven on by a maddening curiosity, Alice speaks the word 19 and pays the price for it. 19 is the key to the land of death. 19 is the key to the land of death. 19 is the key to the land of death.
What is that? Can you repeat it? 19 is the key to where?
The land of death.
What is that? Can you repeat it? 19 is the key to where?
The land of death.
Yes. Over the fire, the Quran says, over this is 19. Well, the paragraph above this, I think that many people should pause this and read the other paragraph in their own time. It goes to more about 19. But basically, Stephen King's book Gunslinger, that's another book. 19 is like a magic number. So 19 is connected to magic too. Yes? And you could use it for magic. Yes. The thing is, more information about where and how it was used in magic, examples of it are in my book, Secrets of the Kabbalah. But anyway, so the thing is, it's important in magic. Yeah, we went through this when we spoke about, theosophy and things like that, a little basics. But anyway, so the thing is, what happens is Walter O'Dim resurrects the weedy to naught, or brings him to life. He brings somebody back to life, somebody who's died. So he implants a secret door in Naught's memory and imagination. And this door, basically, it's going to open it and show what was Naught's, what he was already in. He's in the future, that he's died, so now he's resurrected him. So the thing is, and the key is 19. So this person was beyond there, yes, and the secret horrors of the afterlife. And people are talking about gatekeepers. You want to know. Alice finds it. She's understood the numerical key to the lock. Stephen King gives it away. The Quran even gives it away. It gives you the straight answer. What will explain this fire to you? Over it is 19. In fact, yes, I'll send it again so that people can see about this 19, what the Quran says. Yes, you could read this from the beginning this time. It's talking about humans, or these people who are saying, these people are gatekeepers, they don't want to talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about this 19. You really want to know? Okay, go on.
Then he looked, then he frowned and scowled. Then he turned back and was proud of himself and said, "This is nothing but an illusion and a fake. There is nothing but the words of a man. I will make him burn. But what will explain to you what this burning is? Nothing can survive it. Nothing can escape it. It burns the flesh. Over it are 19. Over it are 19. Over it are 19.
Ah, yes, so all these people want to know. They're dying to know. They're saying gatekeepers. 19 is the key to the land of death in these secret societies. There are all these people who are obsessed, and they're forgetting that there's many people who are suffering, and they're not enjoying much beauty when they can help these people and do good things instead of wasting time trying to find the keystone, or trying to have this keystone, trying to understand these secrets. People wanted to know. Now they know. What do you think of the secret now, Nachiketa? What do you think?
It's fascinating, it's alarming, and it is also
scary.
Kind of scary, yes.
Yes.
Also very scary.
Who wants to know the secret of death? What is wrong with them? Why do they want to know this? Who wants to master the secret of death? Why do they want to know something that if there is a God, that God didn't tell them these things? Why do they want to know? Well, anyway, this Robin Firth's work that he goes through Stephen King's things. Let me just send you more. Here it goes through, for example, you can go through the middle where it says the reason and question mark.
The reason and the question mark. Directive 19. Directive 19 also plays an important part in Wind Through the Keyhole. In that book, Directive 19 fries the circuits of Tim Ross's portable guidance system and good friend, Daria. Why? Because she offers restricted information to the young gunslinger to be.
Yes, that's enough. But basically you can see, yes, there is a very big secret. And many people are saying there's many, that those who know the secret, many of them are afraid. Yes, and it's something to do with the fire. Directive 19 fries the circuits. Yes, because she is giving Daria, why? Is it Daria or some character? I forgot. Because she's giving this information, restricted information, because this is to do with heaven and earth. It's to do with the square and the circle. It's to do with the 33rd degree or beyond. And some of these things, the world cannot handle it. People aren't ready for it yet. Unfortunately. Then the secret will come to you anyway. The secret will come to you. It's like even in the Quran it says that God gives his knowledge, or whatever this knowledge is, to the people who he chooses. And those who he's not chosen doesn't have it. They are illuminated. There are many things going on, but people who wanted to know. Yes. So here is a famous quote in one of his books. Yes. So these people, they want to know the secret. All these people who think that they want immortality. They want to achieve these stations, and they're saying they're doing it for the love of God. If they love God, I don't see them. I don't see many of these people. Yes, giving away their wealth to poor people. I don't see them worried that they're alive. I see them backbiting, talking behind people's backs, calling people names behind their backs, many of these evangelists, Islamists. But anyway, they've gone to the land of 19, whatever is there. Yes? And the secrets of, no one knows exactly what is there. I'll give you an example. It's like these people want to know. It is 1919, and it's a fire, the Quran says. These people want to know. You could read this, yes, from Stephen King's Dark Tower. You could read it.
Yes, the Dark Tower wiki, the clearing at the end of the path, the Dark Tower. No one knows exactly what is there, although Nort may have found out when Walter Haddock gave him the secret of the land of 19. Of the land of 19. Of the land of 19.
Yes. No one knows what is there. People are trying to imagine. Many people are saying different things. That's what religions are, opinions are. Even in the Muslim Quran, it says something like Muhammad does not know what will happen to him. Yes, or the secrets of the land of 19 anyway, where it says that there's 19 over this fire. So the thing is, many people are trying to understand, and they're saying, hey, there's gatekeepers, and it's like they're desperate to know. You really want to know? Don't worry, death's going to come to you. Now, I don't know what's wrong with many of these people. They're desperate to know. Yes? So, the thing is, 19 plays an important part in many other books. An important part. You could just read the beginning of this sentence in the middle paragraph. Yes, that you could read this. Yes? This is Robin Firth. He does an analysis. What does he say?
Although 19 plays an important role throughout Wolves of the Kala and Song of Susanna, not until the final book of the Dark Tower series do we learn the full significance of this curious number.
Okay.
Chasset.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. So basically, yes, it's so important, and we'll find it in many of his works. And the thing is, there's many websites, they've done analysis on Stephen King's work, and things like this to do with the number 19, and they go through it, yes, and things like this, and they go through it, yes, and in his books, Stephen King gives his opinion for keystones for his books, but the thing is, there's different kinds of things. But anyway, there's all these people who are saying there's gatekeepers, yes. So 19 is the key to the land of death, or the key to this fire. Yes, the fire that the Quran talks about. And the thing is, this Alice, yeah, she wanted to know it. What a character in one of Stephen King's books. Yes, and you could read it. Frightened, the middle paragraph.
Yes, frightened, Allie runs to her room to hide. When she comes back downstairs, MIB is gone. But he has left her a note. The note tells her if she wants to know about death, about what comes after death, she only has to say the word 19. If she wants to know about death, about what comes after death, she only has to say the word 19. She only has to say the word 19. She only has to say the word 19. To North, and he will tell her, but the knowledge will drive her mad. She feels as if she has been handed a cocked pistol. She won't be able to stop herself from firing eventually. The note is signed with our first look at a name for MIB, Walter O. Dim.
Yeah, the MIB is basically the men in black. Whoever they are, you could call it angels, you could call it whatever. This is like he's giving a story. So it's the message in the story saying, you want to know, you're dying to know what the gate is and the gatekeepers and what's on the other side, or these 19 angels. Yes? And the thing is saying if she really wants to know and what will come after death. So the 19 is there if you want to understand it. The Quran tells you basically the same story. But this knowledge will drive you crazy. Yes, it's going to drive you crazy. So many people are trying to understand some of them very big secrets. I will tell you from a personal level. Even I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's not worth it. It's not worth it trying to understand the secrets of God if God has not revealed them to you, whoever God is, whether God is within the 33rd degree or beyond the 33rd degree. Yes, look for normal knowledge, and if you look for anything beyond, it's going to drive you crazy. That it turns around and says that in the Quran, for example, it says that people in the past were asking many of these questions. In the end, they didn't believe in anything else. It says the same thing basically in the Quran. Yes. So then the thing is, the thing is, because many people want to know these secrets. So basically, Stephen King is giving people advice. Yes. So here he's giving advice, and it's pretty easy to see what the advice is. That if you understand his books, and things like this. So this is Gunslinger, chapter 1, section 6 to 10, and this is section 8. So about Alice, who they're calling Ali. Yes. So read. Ali finishes her story in the middle paragraph, please.
Yes, Ali finishes her story and bitterly asks the gunslinger if he plans to leave. He admits he should. He thinks the MIB has laid a trap. He tells her never to say the word 19. He tells her never to say the word 19. He tells her never to say the word 19 to North. If you can, teach yourself that the number after 18 is 20. He tells her, warning her to take the note seriously. The man who signed himself Walter O. Dim is a lot of things, but a liar isn't one of them. Even as he warns her, Gunslinger knows Ali will eventually say the word and fall into the trap. She begs him to stay, and he says, we'll see.
Okay. So the thing is, the Quran says a similar story. It's like it says there will be many people who are they just won't believe, and they're going to be dying to know what it is about the number 19. And they're going to be saying, what is the meaning of this? Yes, it's like it's a trial and a test. And the thing is, it says the people who God wants, they will know that it's the truth. And those who have a disease, yes, I will send you this again. You could just read the first 3 lines again, so that people know. It's because many people are saying there's gatekeepers. Yes, it's because same like when you have a child, yes, and 2 people are fighting, you'll say, hey, let's not fight or argue in front of the child. We don't want the child to know. So there are certain things even gatekeepers know that they don't want people to know, because there are some things that even they don't want to know themselves. Maybe heaven or destiny or fate or Ka or Kaaba or Kaaba, Allah, or the way of God, or from the house of God, that they know some things because the information came to them. But the thing is, me personally, I'm telling people now, there are things that I've come to a certain level, I don't want to know beyond that. It's because it's not worth it. I don't even want to know. And the thing is, even Stephen King gives this advice, basically. But what does the Quran say? You could read it. It tells a similar story.
And those people whose hearts have a disease, and the people who do not believe, will say, what is God trying to teach us? God leads in error. Whoever God wishes, and God guides to the truth. Whoever God chooses. No one knows the forces of God except God himself. This is nothing but a warning and a reminder for mankind.
Yes, 19 is the circle that people will find in many secret societies like Theosophy or in Masonry. Yes, 19 is the circle, 3-dimensionally, it's the 33rd degree. You can't go beyond that. That's why it's the highest degree. And so the thing is, what is the message of this? Yes, the thing is, there are many people, it's like God or destiny or heaven has revealed the information to them. Whoever wrote Stephen King's books is basically preaching the Quran. That's all I can say, from what I can see. Yes, and they knew the same information. Yes, so the thing is, if you are really dying to know this information, I advise you too that once you've come to a certain limit and you've understood the basics, it's not worth knowing the rest. Unless if by destiny somehow you came across it. But the thing is, from what I can see, it's like those who do know, it's like they become terrified and they're scared and they don't talk about it, and everyone knows that there are many secret organizations in religions in other places, that some people have reached a certain level whereby they know beyond this. Yes, which is something to do with death or the fire. And it's not worth knowing. Yes? And they're so afraid to tell people. And they're so afraid to even talk. And this is known. Yes? So here, you could read this. Both paragraphs.
Okay. What constant readers learns, this is an odd little section. Gunslinger asks for a map to see what lies beyond the desert. Yet he knows why Old Dim is headed southwest or southeast. So he knows where they're going, the Dark Tower, I assume, but has never actually been there before. The presence of the center of the world in that direction is confirmed when Ali says that sometimes the clouds all drift that way as if something is sucking them toward it. So I have to admit, I have no idea what the significance of the map is or his desire for a map. Mostly, this section underscores the sadness of Ali's life. She's pitifully grateful to know he's not leaving her yet.
Okay, basically, so the thing is, one, this place, there is a place here, and it's like a special map, and it's like it's a valuable place. It's somewhere beyond the desert. Yes, the desert regions. Yes, and it's southeast. So Stephen King's books' audiences are Europe and America, basically. That's the majority of his audience. And where is Southeast from Europe and America? Where do you arrive at?
Middle East.
Yes, in the deserts. Yes. And what is there? The presence of the center of the world is there. You see?
The Mecca.
Yes. The mother city. And the thing is, this is also, yeah, I'll put it in a new book. I've given more information about that in many of my other books also, about the geographical location of this Mecca. That this place is very important, it's significant, and things like this. So the thing is, whoever wrote these books, yes, Stephen King's books, yes, it's basically talking about this, about Islam, that you could see the Quran, and what we call the simple Sunnah in modern day Islam. What we can see is that they pray towards this place in the desert, and they say it's the mother city in the world, and it's southeast from Europe and America. That's what this place is. Yes, so it's strange. Yes, but as you can see, something very related to Islam. Yeah, and the thing is, it's scary. Many people are wondering what what many gatekeepers and other people are hiding. Yes, and the thing is, they're hiding, about the land of the 19. It's not worth knowing. There's many people who worship numbers, who say these numbers are amazing and these are the things, and numbers, from 1 to 9, 0 to 9, and things like that. Yes, and things like that. But the thing is, but anyway, it's scary. Yes, and there's of course, because Stephen King has an audience, and his books are, they make money and many of the things. It's a business, but the thing is, let me just show a bit more information about place in the desert. Yes, about this place in the desert, a bit more information. So here it is, section 10. Yes, and you could read this, the first paragraph.
Okay, section 10, Gunslinger visits Cannery Hostler and asks how big the desert is. He gives a vague answer and references the preacher woman who has told them all about demons who live in the desert. Gunslinger asks about what's after the desert, but Kennerly knows only the rumor he heard. Mountains, perhaps, or even a green ocean with monsters.
Okay, so now the strange thing is even the geography is very strange. It's like you arrive at the desert. In the Middle East, there's nothing there, but it says demons who live there. We can see the majority of the people were naked just 100 years ago in the Arabian Peninsula. And beyond that is the Green Ocean, the Indian Ocean. Yes, with very big wells that even the Japanese go there and things. But anyway, the thing is, the geography is very strange, and the center of the world is in this desert and all these other things. So the thing is, it's just a strange story. The 19 and how it matches with stories in the Quran, modified, of course, for the sake of for the sake of for the sake of the books and the fiction and things like this. Aren't you finding this information very shocking?
Yes, very shocking.
How shocking?
Extremely shocking.
Yes, it's extremely shocking. Now, we'll just go through a few things, examples of how you will see 19 in Stephen King's books. It's like there's many things, because there are many people who are going to say the Quran has got amazing numerical codes with the number 19, or the Bible has got it, and other things. It's not just Stephen King. In many of the books of these people who know these secrets, you will find amazing maths there. Yes, it's not just in the Bible. It's not just in the New Testament or the Quran or the Old Testament. There's amazing mathematics. Like, for example, you could read all of this. You can
Yes.
read it.
Yeah, names containing 19 letters. Shanice Anya Ackerman, Billy Summers, Ted Stevens,
Barutigan, Dark Tower, Claudia Inez Bachman, Dark Tower, Donald Frank Callahan, Salem's Lot, Richard Patrick Sayer, Dark Tower, Dennis Edward Hazlett, The Dead Zone, uh, Althea Pierce Dunning, 221163, Charles Daniel Jacobs, Revival, Terrence John Maitland, The Outlander, Danya Roberta Jurgen, The Stand, Catherine Ann Summers, Billy Summers.
Okay, Billy Summers, Dark Tower, Salem's Lot, The Dead Zone. These are books that he wrote. So this is just an example of names that have got 19 letters. It's like whoever wrote his books, they chose the names, they chose how many letters. Many of the other names don't have 19, they've got other numbers. So there's many other mathematical codes that if anybody came to the conclusion after they examine his work, they'll think, how could a human being have written these things? But the thing is, once you know many of these secrets, it's not difficult, yes, of how to organize these things. Yes, it's not very difficult. So some people will say he's inspired, it's divine, and things like this. But he's got like strange phrases in his books, strange titles, and things like this. Like for example, he's got the coming of the white or Hyperborean wanderer, or a rose is a rose is a rose. Like for example, he's got phrases that have 19 letters in some of his books, and the strange mathematical layouts and things like this in his books. And the thing is, he's got strange odd numbers, even numbers, and many other things. It's like anybody who goes through it and tries to understand the mathematics, even some of the mathematics is not simple. It's advanced gematria, same like how we will find in the Bible or in the 19 code in the Quran. And then it makes one wonder, who wrote these books? Who wrote the Bible? Who wrote the Quran? Who wrote the New Testament? The New Testament has got amazing mathematics. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. It's hard to believe that humans wrote these codes. Even in the Old Testament, there's amazing mathematics. But if you are somebody who's a great mathematician and you understand these things, then it's not difficult for you to insert the mathematics into the text. But here is an example of suspicious mathematics in his book. So you could read them. Yes.
Okay. In The Shining, the most dangerous room in the Overlook Hotel is room 217, and 2 plus 17 equals 19. The license plate number of Lizzie Landon's BMW is 5761RD. The sum of 5761 equals 19, while RD, the initials of gunslinger Roland Deschain, and explains to Dr. John Bonsaint that half of 3728 is 1864, and that the digits of 1864 adds up to 19, a powerful odd number. Claire, Sam, and Joe McCaffrey lives at 19 Mill Road in Chester's Mill, Maine. Jackie Weddington and Linda Everett finds a scrap of paper with 1693. The code is disarm the alarm at the WCIK radio tower. Written on it, the sum of 1 plus 6 plus 9 plus 3 equals 19. Adian Appleton borrows a Shawshank prison work shirt bearing the prisoner number of 9091. The sum of 9091 equals 19. Jim Rennie is assigned to room number 19 at Catherine Russell Hospital in Chester's Mill for treatment of his cardiac arrhythmia. Pamela Chen retrieves bus 19 from the Chester's Mill bus depot to transport residents on Visitors' Day. Wesley Smith was born on 19th July 1974. In UR 7191974, Ernest Hemingway died on 19th August 1964. The sum of the numbers in UR 117586 is 19. Both Franklin Faraday and William Blakely wrote the uniform number 19. In mile 81, Rachel and Blake Lussier live at 19 Fresh Winds Way, Falmouth, Maine. 04105, the sum of 4, 10, and 5 also being 19. The license plate of their family's Ford Expedition is 37721Y, Y, with 3772 also equaling 19. In Dune, protagonist Harvey Beecher describes a 1959 plane crash in Florida in which 119 people end there.
Yeah, yeah, okay. But basically, you're beginning to see something is wrong. You see. So now, if anybody has read any of my books, that they're seeing all these 19s everywhere, like, for example, there is the book. Let's see. This is a very, very important book, but many people didn't seem to realize this. Yes, the Alpha and the Omega codes. It's like in many of the events that we see that are happening around the world in the last 100 years, many of the events are clearly planned and organized. Yes, and we can see that there's different groups of people organizing them deliberately using the number 19. Yes, and this is also in my book, not just Alpha and Omega codes. Yes, in my book Illuminati Games. Now many people seem to think it's a joke, and then of course many people will say that, for example, some of the 19s there that you read out is actually speculation, but some of it is actual real. Like, I will give an example of what speculation is. It's like when it says in The Shining. Yes, in that book, the most dangerous room in the Overlook Hotel is room 217. Now, 2 plus 17 is 19, but 2 plus 1 plus 7 is not 19. That's speculation. But when they say that the license plate number of Lindsay London's BMW is 5761 RD, and the sum of 576 plus 1 is 19, that's correct. That matches a pattern in many other things in his books. But the most dangerous room, hotel number 217, 2 plus 17, that's speculative, even though for that case itself, it might actually have been genuinely created in that way. Yes, the thing is, when you look at the pattern, it's like that is speculation, and a lot of people do that in speculation with the Quran and with the Bible and with many other historical books. They do speculation. Now, speculation is not the way to actually understand these things. There's enough evidence already to show that something is wrong. Something is wrong, that we're alive, that we exist, and we don't know why, and things like this. And so many people have said David's a gatekeeper, like all these others, they're hiding things. It's like, you want to know here. In Stephen King's books, it's like he goes a step further, and it's like basically you want to know the land of 19, the land of no return, the land of the fire, or the land of the dead. That's what it's all about. So the thing is, you're alive, be grateful, yes, and do good things, and help people. Yeah, we've got limited time. And if we understand today, we can understand yesterday, and we can understand tomorrow. Of course, today is very important, but some people will say no. And of course, there will be many people who will be there saying, oh, he's no good, she's no good, this person is bad, that person's bad. And the thing is, it's not about good or bad. You should be good yourself, and try to make the world a better place, help people. It's the action that counts. Half the world is suffering. People can't pay for their foods and other things. And the thing is, if people are saying, is that all in Stephen King's? It's not all. We were nowhere near finished. We'd only just started. Yeah, yeah. Read this out, just for the benefit of the listeners, because it's very important for people to see what this is. Because some people are going to say, "Oh no, my religion shows more advanced mathematics." Yes, and the thing is, it's not just religion. The truth is, none of us knows what's going on. We're all in this together, so we've got to help each other and do our best. Yeah, go ahead. The modern day ambulance.
The modern day ambulance from Kingdom Hospital is Unit 19. 19 is Billy's uniform number in Blockade Billy. In Drunken Fireworks, Eldon McCausland describes the firework as being like Apollo 19. In Weeds, the crate discovered in a basement at Horlicks University is marked with the text Arctic Expedition, June 19, 1834. In Storm of the Century, a character attempts to communicate over a radio using Channel 19. In Rose Red, Patricia Waterman's license plate is 019TRI. In the Dead Zone, John Smith's last bet on the Wheel of Fortune game was 19. Page 129 of the Dead Zone, Herb turned 52, Vera 51, and Sarah Hazlett 27. Johnny had been in his coma for 4 years. 52 plus 51 minus 27 is 4 plus 19. In
Stop.
the
Stop.
Yes.
This is now an example. What many people do with the Bible and the Quran to show amazing maths, that's speculation. Yes, it's speculation when you turn around and say 52 plus 51. Yes, and then you minus 27. Yes, it's like it says Herb turned 52, Vera 51, and Sarah was 27. So in that case, they should have actually done 52 plus 51 plus 27, but they decided to do their own calculation. That's speculative. Yes. Now in that case, many people will still argue it's relevant, but you can clearly see that that is speculative. So many people use these kind of things as proof. Now, in the Bible and the Quran, there is no verse numbers. They were artificially added, by the way. Yes? And the thing is, if somebody says the Bible is the word of God or the Quran is the word of God, these verse numbers were put there by men, not by God. There is no evidence that these numbers have got anything to do with God whatsoever. Yes? This is explained more in my book, Secrets of the Kabbalah, and in the book 33 Degrees. But anyway, you could carry on in the novel. The next line.
In the novel 11/22/63, the game cribbage contains the phrase Mystic 19, the so-called impossible hand. In the novel 11/22/63, the address of the Dunning family is 379 Kossuth Street. 3 plus 7 plus 9 equals 19. In the novel 11/22/63, Jake stores his manuscript in lockbox 775. 7 plus 7 plus 5 equals 19. In 11/22/63, the telephone number adds up to 19, and there are several addresses that do as well. In the novel Elevation, the character Deirdre is a champion runner who uses the number 19 as her lucky number. In the 1985 film Silver Bullet, the Coleslaw family's home address number is 5131. 5 plus 13 plus 1 equals 19. In the 1994 miniseries adaptation of The Stand, Lloyd Henreid's prison uniform number is 25741. 2 plus 5 plus 7 plus 4 plus 1 equals 19. In the 2003 film Dreamcatcher, Dudit's address is 19 Maple Lane. In the 2014 film Good Marriage, one of the characters' license plate number is 19 times 9 are 8. That's it.
Okay, the thing is, that web page, we're nowhere near the bottom. Nowhere near the bottom. And that's why I thought I said read the next page out, because it just goes on and on and on. It's because there's that much 19s and other codes to do with other numbers. And the thing is, it just goes on and on and on. So the thing is, many people will say, what is going on here? Where did he get this information? Yeah, many people will say, what is going on here? It's a serious question, and it can't be ignored, because when you go through all the books, I mean, this is just so little, the information. It's it's like 10 times more deeper, or 100 times more deeper. And the thing is, somebody will turn and think, who wrote his books? And people will find it hard to believe that these books were written by humans. it's very difficult that they'll say he must have had the assistance of machines or something else. Yes. So the thing is, we find similar mathematics in the Bible and the Quran and other things, and many people are thinking it's amazing. So the thing is, it's not just Stephen King's works. In many books, and many people are not aware of these things. Well, anyway, the basics of these two things, 19 and the 33, is explained in my two books, Secrets of Kabbalah and 33 Degrees. And I'm going to say a few things now so that then, just to give an idea, because many people are going to say, it's flimsy, it's not enough. So I will read this. In the novel Thinner, Billy Halleck has 19 exits. Billy reflects that his weights drift upwards from 190. Billy hadn't been inside a church since age 19. Several of Billy's weights given throughout the novel include numbers that add up in one combination or another to equal 19. These include 217, 188, 181, 172, 118, 127. While staying in a hotel, Billy receives room service from an employee that he estimates to be 19 years old. Billy leaves Bucksport for Bar Harbor on June 19th. An investigation into Richard Ginelli's gang-related activities was dropped on in 1981. 198 1 together is 19. Actually, it's not just 19. There's many other codes with other numbers. And the thing is, we can go to, like many of Stephen King's books individually, and people will find these books suspicious. This is just one number. There's many other numbers and many other patterns mathematically. Like, for example, in the book The Cell, during the pulse, Clayton Riddle and Tom McCourt witness a plane with the number LN6409B on its tail crash in Boston. 6409 equals 19. That's the plane number. Yes, near routes 1 to 8 in New Hampshire. The protagonists pass a road sign reading Manchester 19 M1. Yeah, basically 19. Gayton Academy was founded in 1846, 1846 equal 19, etc., etc. It just goes on and on and on. You can go through his books. I'm going to give a few screenshots. People can pause these things and go through it in their own time. But the thing is, it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is just a little bit of it. It's like we could just go on reading for the next hour from this website and things like this. It could just go on for an hour. The life of Chuck, if it bleeds, the rat, many of these things. This just goes to a bit of simple things, and this is in the wiki page. Yes, I'm just giving screenshots. Billy Summers later in all these books. It's just absolutely insane. Don't you think it's insane, this mathematics?
Yes, very improbable that it is all done by chance.
All done by chance. Now the thing is, and it's not just the mathematics. It's like the story and the morals and the message he's sending. Let's say, for example, in the Dark Tower, mysteriously it matches in the Quran. Isn't this scary?
Yes, yes, that is alarming.
Scary. It's scary because he's basically just giving the same message. There's other messages, and the thing is, it's like many Stephen King's fans will know this, but the thing is, it's like if anybody's a Stephen King fan, will now have to realize how important this book, the Quran, is. Yes, and the thing is, yes, the history, there is, it's suspicious, the history about this book. Of course, it's suspicious. Yes, the thing is, we can't find its true history. Yes, and things like this of where it came from. At least the Bible, we can find it. The modifications, it's like, of course, many scholars have said that the Quran's been changed, it's been modified, added to and deleted. Like, for example, yes, according to the Quran, it says, let me just see, according to the Quran, it says, no one can change the words of God or something. It says something like that. Let me just see. It says it in the Quran. It says this, and this is very important. It's because if Stephen King didn't think it wasn't important, why would he have this similar message? Yeah. So the thing is, um, it says no one can alter the words of God. Yeah, and basically it says this in chapter 6. Yeah, these official chapter numbers are fake, by the way. Yes, they were invented. But anyway, it says nobody can change the words of God. So now, according to the Quran, the Torah historically should be the word of God. So this means nobody's changed it. And the Evangel, or the Evangel in English, yes, is supposed to be another book of God. And if nobody can change the words of God, it means that the Torah and the Evangel has not been changed. Now, in the same book, the Quran, if the Quran is saying it's the word of God and that no one can change the words of God, it means that whoever God is, that God's Torah, God's Evangel, God's Torah, in simple terms, God's Torah, God's Evangel, and God's Quran, yes, have not been changed. That's according to the Quran. But the manuscripts, the official Torah, the official Quran on paper, and the official New Testament on paper, and the so-called books of God on paper, anybody can change these paper books. They are people's books. When you get a printed book, they are printed books. The printed book is a printed book. That's why it's like when anybody has a look at the Old Testament, many people will say that the Old Testament is definitely not the Torah or the Word of God. Many people will say it. Many people will say that the New Testament is definitely not the Evangel that Jesus Christ delivered, and it's definitely not the Word of God. It is well known that many people in the world deny the manuscripts of the Quran and deny the paper Quran, and they say this is not the word of God. This is well known. Many Christians, many evangelists, and things like this. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But according to the Quran, and according to other religious people, nobody can change the words of God. So the real Torah, or the real words of God, the Torah, the angel, or the Quran, these original books, nobody's ever changed them. Now, a printed book, or what somebody tells you with their mouth and their voice, is what they have told you. Yes, the oral Quran is what men have passed down. The written Quran is what men have printed. Oh, by the way, in case some people are desperate to know, yeah, what do you call it? Yes, and the thing is, it's like it's well known throughout the Middle East. Yes, it's well known. Like this is just a little. We'll go through it some other day, but you can talk about what do you call it? These printed Qurans throughout the Middle East 100 years ago and before then. This is somebody. I think it's an Islamic name there. Ayman S. Ibrahim. Yes, and what does he have to say?
A concise guide to the Quran answering 30 critical where did these copies come from? The fact is that copies of the Arabic Quran of various readings were printed in Europe and sent to the Muslim countries.
Yes, the Muslims didn't have machines. The thing is, many of them don't want to admit and accept the history that their lands were basically infested with poverty and things like this over 100 years ago. And they were dominated by colonial masters who printed books and gave them things, who set up their religious systems and their religious schools. But we'll have to go through that some other time. But basically, if God, has given His word, nobody can change God's word. But if there is a printed book, anybody could print anything. You see, if there is an oral book, anybody could say anything in an oral book. We have oral Vedas, oral Qurans, we have printed Qurans and things like this. And many people are saying, oh, what about the Yemen Sama Quran? Wake up, it's a forgery. Yes. What about this from 600 AD British Quran? That's another forgery. Chapter 19. Huh. Yes, I guess they haven't read my books, but they put down a comment. By the way, this video is about my books. If you've not read the books, why are you going to put a comment there? Unless if you're uneducated and stupid without a brain, because these videos are explaining my books and the rest of the information is in my books. Yes. So the thing is, if people haven't read these books and these are the things, then of course they won't understand. And of course, people can go and do further research themselves. And because we are talking history, we're reading other people's research, we're reading other people's opinions from Quora today, which we've not done, which I normally don't do, but because this is to do with fiction works of Stephen King. Yes, so I thought we will read out people's opinions today. Yes, but the thing is, we are talking different subjects, and we are not here to tell anybody that the Bible or the Quran or the Vedas is the word of God or the word of the devil. We are talking history. That's what my books are about things in history that you can check. You see? I don't know. Any questions, Nachiketa?
No, I don't have any questions. I think it's just really fascinating and alarming and scary, but it is
Of
very
course.
fascinating.
Yes, it is very fascinating that many people know that there's people, not just in secret societies, are people who know certain things and they're terrified they don't want to talk about certain things. So that's why it's like there were things that I could know, and the thing is, there are people beyond me who know information, and and the thing is, I don't want to know certain information. Life is beautiful. Whoever created us gave us a beautiful life, and that person. Yes, of course, he's given some people a beautiful life, some people have difficult times. So the thing is, because we're here now, we should do our best to help these other people and to fight about God later. Yes, the thing is, let's do good things. Let's build this world together. It's because if we make mistakes now, our civilizations will collapse. And of course, yes, evangelists, Quranists, Islamists, yes, many of them have extreme opinions. And the thing is, I advise people to stay away from these things whereby it could destroy civilization that took, many decades and centuries to build. That many people worked hard. These orphans in Europe, orphans in Egypt, orphans throughout the Middle East, orphans, in the Americas. People worked hard. They built the roads. People are working hard right now in China or India. Many of them are not Christian. They're not Muslims. They're not anything, but they're getting a low salary, and we are using their equipment to talk on the internet. And their equipment or their work built many of these computer components. They did the mining with their bare hands. They worked hard. Let's give back to the world. Yes, whatever our beliefs are, and the difference is, yes, and these things, many things we don't understand it. And there are things I don't understand, I'm not going to lie. And the truth is, I don't want to understand beyond a certain level. Yes, because it's not worth knowing unless if the majesty of heaven or whatever you want to call him, yes, or God, or whatever you want to call him, or the creator, or whichever you want to say, yes, if it's automatically revealed to you, then the thing is you can't avoid it. But there are many secrets they are not worth knowing. So in my books, I don't go past these limits. And Stephen King, also doesn't go past these limits, but it's like he gives a similar warning to the Quran. That doesn't mean that Stephen King's books are divine. It doesn't mean that God wrote his books. Yes? So the thing is, there's many of the religion's books. Religion is a belief. Yes, it's your belief. If you value it, look for the good things, build the good things first, and help people. Instead of sitting there trying to target people, attacking them for their beliefs. And you are in Europe and America, but if you had to give $100 or €100 tomorrow, you won't give it. If you had to go and work there, just go and help people, you won't do it. That's what type of a hypocrite some of these evangelists, Islamists, Biblists, and Quranists, many of these people are. That they can come and they can comment and say horrible things to people, but when it comes to putting their money where their mouth is, they won't do it. They'll talk like they're angels or pious or something. I'm not looking for followers. I talk about history. I hope the history helps people, but the thing is, what else can I say? You know, there are certain things that even I don't want to know beyond a certain level. I hope it helps you. Yes, help to build a better world if you can, and things like this. We're sitting on wealth; the rest of the world is living in garbage. Yeah, and let's not destroy our own societies. Many people don't know how other societies, that when a society and the system collapses, yes, even in 100 years or 200 years, it can sometimes they don't recover. In Europe and America, we've got something beautiful. It's not perfect. Many people are complaining, but it's way better than any other places in the world. I advise people, let's not cause divisions and hatred. Let's look for common things. Let's investigate things and take time. Let's not destroy our own backyards, our homeland. Yes, and from our homeland, let's help the rest of the world. Or they could destroy us because they're dying to come here. I mean, the thing is, the immigration is getting ridiculous. It's got to be like reduced at the moment, and we've got to help them to reduce the immigration. Yes, and the thing is, next time we'll talk about Egypt, and it's very shocking. But if people check, the majority of the people in Egypt didn't live there 150 years ago. So, by the way, the current a Quran that many people are promoting is the Cairo Egyptian Quran from 1924. If any people study Egypt itself before the 1860s and the 1870s, the majority of the Muslims were not even there. That's another thing. I'll talk about that some other time, or I'll publish it in a book, or people can check it themselves. It's same like in Europe, there's many cities, yes, that are now majority Muslim, but these Muslims weren't here 50 years ago. That's a fact. So in the same way, many people who are protecting this Cairo 1924 Quran, and they're going to say it's been orally been there for centuries. No, it's not. Those people are telling lies. You can easily check it. And if somebody says you can't remember what somebody's grandfather or somebody said, go and ask somebody's grandfather and say, what did his grandfather say? Because when you're a child, age 8, 9, and 10, in a poor society, yes, the parents go working, looking after animals and the farms and other things, and they're doing manual labor. The child sits with the grandparents. The grandparents just talk and talk and talk, saying, hey, kid, when I was young, yes, and say, hey, did your daddy used to beat you? Did you used to talk to your granddaddy? These are the kind of things that people ask. And many people have kept a lot of this history. That's why we can trace the history back to 150 years. Yes, this is not about the Quran. This is not about the Bible. This is not about the Vedas. What they say, shalom, shalom in Hebrew, shalom means peace. Yes, we're all saying peace. We all want peace of mind, peace of heart, a beautiful world. So peace was here before this Quran. Peace was here before the New Testament. Peace was here before the Torah or the Old Testament. Peace will be here after these things and before these things. So Islam or peace was here before these things. Shalom or peace was here before the Quran, before the Bible. Am I correct or am I making this up?
Absolutely, you're correct. I 100%
Yeah,
agree.
100% it's true. It's up to us. We can make the world a peaceful, beautiful place and we can help each other. Let's do it, especially from Europe and America. We've got to start here. And the thing is, yeah, if anybody knows how Egypt turned into what people would say a third world shithole, people will call it. It turned like that because of some mistakes that they made 150 years ago. Let's not make these same mistakes in Europe and America. Yes, or otherwise we won't be able to reverse it. If anybody thinks that the New World Order and that the people who know some of these secrets, that they can even stop the collapse of Europe and America, they can't. I'm telling you, they can't. And a lot depends on the people. More depends on the people. So, the thing is, if anybody is hearing this, Let's look for unity and build a beautiful world together. And that's what we should do. There are many things it's not worth fighting over. Shalom or Islam or peace was here before the Quran, before the Bible. It will be here after the Bible. You see? So peace and shalom in Islam doesn't depend on books. It's up to you what to do. You see? Judgment Day. You've heard of that day? Where
Yes,
they say
Judgment Day. Yeah.
mankind. Yes. So the thing is, for Judgment Day, do beautiful things now. The Quran and the Bible will not be judged. Yeah, those are just books. You will be judged. You are a living creature. You are a living being. So let's do our best. That's the only advice I can give. Anything else, Nachiketa? Anything else?
Nope, I can't think of anything, and really appreciate you sharing this information with us.
Yeah, if people want to know more information about this thing, I've given them advice. More information is in my books, Matrix Codes, Alpha and the Omega Codes, and also in the book Secrets of Kabbalah and 33 Degrees. That's where they will find uh, um, what is this 19 and what is the 33 and what is the Ka and the Ba and the Allah and things like this. People will understand it, and then they will know what is this war that's going on between all these sides. It's not worth it. The war isn't worth it. We don't know many things, and many things are not even worth knowing. That's all I can say to you people. Okay, Nachiketa, let's leave it at that and we'll continue some other time. Yes? What do you say?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to talk to you next time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you.